Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and now that my two obligatory informative videos are done for the day, including plenty of training footage, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. And I had about half a dozen people ask me in my comments today, hey Jason, could you talk about Jerry Ward saying basketball isn't cardio? So I had to actually go see the video. Let me put on my +5 out of 4 up in smithing. Work on skill at my crafting a little bit. Let's talk about this. Doesn't look like his video was very well received. Looking at the likes, the dislikes. Jerry, why did you have to single out basketball? And I'm going to tell a story in a minute on here because I covered basketball before of a problem with someone else I knew who the basketball was playing so much pickup basketball that he couldn't bulk and gain muscle because he was burning through so many calories. Totally different story. But why single out basketball? If you really wanted to pick on physical activity and call it not cardio, you could have gone with golf. You could have gone with bowling. Any of those things. Any of those things. But basketball next he's going to try to say that sex isn't cardio or something like that. You're going to see even more dislikes when that happens. And I mean, sex is relative. I really guess it depends on, what you're doing. If it counts as cardio or not. Are you getting it or are you getting it? There's a difference there, and that does affect caloric burn and heart rate. And then, you got frequency, duration, all that stuff. But this isn't about that. This isn't about that. We're not going to talk about sex here. We're going to talk about basketball. And he's like, well, it doesn't count as cardio to play pickup basketball twice a week. Kind of going back to the sex thing. We could argue that some people basketball isn't cardio. But not everybody balls as hard as everyone else. Maybe where you live, they don't play basketball serious. Maybe they don't. Where I've seen here in Texas, there's people betting. They're placing bets on pickup basketball games. People are playing for money. And when people are betting, and they're doing that every night a week on these pickup basketball games, I can tell you when there's money on the line, these guys are out there playing hard. And I can honestly say, over the years, I've noticed there are people who do consistently play enough pickup basketball with enough intensity that they're actually in pretty good shape. I've seen people out there who have good conditioning, they have good endurance. Depending upon what you're doing with it, matters. It absolutely matters a lot. So to make a blanket statement that basketball isn't cardio, no, it absolutely depends on what you're doing with the basketball. As far as sports go, basketball definitely has a large conditioning component and endurance component. There are a lot of basketball players who their actual gameplay and practice is a big chunk of their conditioning work who are very, very conditioned athletes. There are a lot of basketball players who are in phenomenal shape. So to state it isn't cardio or isn't going to help people get in shape or whatever, and he tries to say, it doesn't boost metabolism. Cardio in general doesn't boost metabolism. Cardio burns calories while you're doing it. It doesn't boost your metabolic rate. You're mixing cardio up with resistance training. But, let's keep in mind, Jerry kind of makes confusions all the time. I even saw him once in a video mix up crack and cocaine. He got the two things totally confused with each other. And, considering his past, that was actually kind of a surprise. So when it comes to someone who's an expert on bodybuilding and women's bikini and whatever else it is that he's into, I don't keep up with what he coaches. Where was I going with that? I got so confused thinking about that. It's no surprise that even though he's got a background in that, he might not actually know the difference between, energy expenditure during an activity and your actual metabolism. They're actually two totally different things, but that's okay. The cardio doesn't generally boost your metabolism. But the idea that basketball can't be a form of cardio, when we see tons of basketball players who are in fantastic shape, you can go down to any city, any major city where there's a lot of basketball games and see people who play tons of basketball who are in fantastic shape. It's actually relatively common. In fact, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the majority of people that you see who play pickup basketball games multiple nights a week, the majority of them actually do seem to be in shape. All right, you can't argue with that. Go look at pickup basketball games. Okay, the person who does the occasional, but the guy who's out there playing 4 or 5 nights a week, and they're actually playing hard, telling me they're not in shape when you look at them? Not getting winded during the game. They're out there sweating their asses off sometimes. But they're not in shape, that it's not cardio? Are you serious? Maybe things are different where you live. Where's he live, in Rhode Island? Is he in Rhode Island or is he in Maine? I forget which one. I think it's Rhode Island. Maybe things are different up there, you know. It's because basketball is oftentimes an outdoor game. Maybe it's too cold for people to play. They're all bundled up. I don't know, but you come further down in the South, where I've mostly grown up, it's a little bit different. People are out there playing basketball hard. They play pretty hard, and it appears to be pretty decent cardio. Now, like with anything else, there's a lot of factors in determining how good a cardio it is, and again, it's going to depend on how hard you're playing. Of course it's going to depend. That's a big factor. But yeah, for him to just make a universal statement like that, to the point to where enough people really seem to be unhappy with the video, disagree with him, and to where multiple people are saying, hey, can you cover this? And I'm going to be honest, guys, basketball is a legitimate form of cardio. If you're playing with any degree of vigor, it's going to be cardio. It's going to count towards your cardio. Why in the world wouldn't it? Why wouldn't it? And then I would suggest to him, he's like, well, I've had people who can't lose, they're not losing weight doing it. Well, because they're eating too much. They're eating too much. Why don't you have them do a little more squatting in the gym and reduce their calories a little bit further? Why don't you do that? You know, weight loss is still about calories in, calories out. And if you're not burning enough calories, of course they're not getting the benefits. But the actual cardiovascular benefits of doing any form of cardiovascular activity go beyond just the calorie burn. And in this case, getting in shape. And being in shape is about your conditioning. And this is where you have to get frustrated. You listen to these bodybuilders. This is a fitness channel. I'm not running a bodybuilding channel. I don't give a single crap about bodybuilding. No one who cares about fitness should care about bodybuilding because it's not compatible with health and fitness. The word conditioning to everyone else in the world, including basketball players, real athletes, means how in shape you are, how much endurance you have. Your endurance, that's your conditioning. It has nothing to do with how peeled and shredded you are while prancing around on your panties. And you want to, there you go, there's something that's not cardio. Oiling yourself up and prancing around on a stage in your panties, flexing. Oh. Doing the rear glute spread in front of a bunch of dudes, whatever else they do. I don't know what all the mandatory poses are. That's not cardio. That's not cardio. Basketball, I think, if played, again, with any degree of passion or any degree of effort, is going to count as cardio. And people can get in shape doing it. I wouldn't recommend it as the only physical activity. If your goal is to really get into shape, be fit, be healthy, be strong, be fast, you want to do more than just basketball. But basketball can absolutely be incorporated into that. It can absolutely count as part of your conditioning work. It's absolutely very positive physical activity with cardiovascular benefits. And to kind of imply that it isn't, I don't get that. I don't see why someone would say that. Again, I could understand if we were talking about golf. I could understand if we're talking about prancing around on a stage oiled up. Bowling. Okay, bowling, yeah. Like I said before, bowling's not really cardio. But basketball? And kind of going back to my original point, I knew a guy years ago, many years ago, at a gym. I was chatting with him, and he's like, I can't gain any weight. I'm struggling to gain muscle. And I was looking at the dude, and he was really lean. I mean, probably under 10% body fat. Had a decent amount of muscle, but we were chatting with him and a few other guys. And we knew the guy because we worked in with him on sets every now and then. And he was saying what stuff he was on, all right? He wasn't natty. And he's like, I can't gain weight. I'm struggling to gain muscle. And he starts breaking down his food. He's like, well, I'm eating as much as I can really stand to eat. And it wasn't that much. It wasn't a lot of calories. It wasn't what I was expecting. And then we're looking, and it's like, well, we don't see what the problem is, other than maybe you need more food. And then some of us noticed he was playing basketball over there. We come over and ask him, and he was up there sweating and jumping and playing basketball every night at the gym. And we asked him, how many nights a week are you playing basketball? He's like, about 5 nights for an hour and a half. And he couldn't eat enough to gain weight, even on anabolics, because he was playing so much basketball playing so much basketball that it was actually interfering with him being able to eat enough food because it was burning so many calories that he was struggling. He was struggling to gain. But if you were to ask me, was the guy in shape? The guy was in great shape, playing an hour of basketball, pickup basketball for an hour and a half every night. In addition to lifting weights 5 days a week, the guy was in good shape. But that was his cardio. And it was, again, creating such a calorie burn that he was struggling to gain muscle, even on drugs. I mean, that's a perfect example. A perfect example showing how much energy can be expended playing basketball if you're really serious about it and you're out there actually playing to win. Burn a lot of calories to the point to where, in his case, it was actually interfering with his ability to bulk. It was so much. But no, of course, in Jerry's world, basketball is not cardio. Only getting on a treadmill is cardio.
And lifting weights is only like pink dumbbells.
Yeah, and plus, if you guys see, of course, you should see his definition of weightlifting. If you guys watch Jerry train, grab some little 20-pound dumbbells and he does side laterals like this.
You might as well just get some fake titties and show his ass on Instagram.
Right? And then he wonders why he can't maintain his size when he's on TRT. And so when he comes off of gear, why he shrinks so much. Well, Jerry, maybe it's because your definition of weight training is just as bad as your definition of cardio. Maybe you don't actually know what it is.
We all saw a stack when he was, quote unquote, getting off of gear.
Yeah,
and just using BioGrow.
Yeah, when he was on BioGrow and he was on 2 grams of gear plus IGF-1 and growth hormone. Wasn't even that big, was he?
I don't think he could tell the truth if his life depended on it.
All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.